Hello everyone. This is the clip discusses part 4 of chapter 4 that it mainly focus on register the context of situation in touch everyone. Now I have one of the introducing question. Why does context matter? Actually, text display continuity not just with element within their text boundaries, which confine to grammatical structure and word, but also with the context within which they take place or happened. To see how text display continuity, we need to study the following example, like you use it, you was it. In case we do not have the context, is it possible in order to make interpretation in terms of the meaning from this text? Yes, the answer is very short. It would be impossible. Therefore, it displays the importance of contextualization in order to help us interpret the meaning of this given text. With context, however, it is possible for us to know which word the presuming references like you and it refer to, that the relationship between two clauses is cause or effect sequence, and that the use of exclamation mark is intended as an imperative. In other words, context function as the retrieval source in order to clear up interminacies of meaning or the meaning that is not clear. How context gets into text? One way in which context gets into a text is through schematic structure that we need to get through different types of genre. For example, like the genre of explanation or interactive, cause or effect or narrative or argumentative, etc. Another way, which is distinct from cultural context, is situational context, which not only determine the appropriacy of using particular genre, but also allows us to know who is involved in producing the text that we call tenor, what the text is about or the topic base we call FAHL, and the role of what role language is playing that we call mode. Now we move on to register theory, everyone. Actually, register theory can be the study of which aspect of context are important. On the top of this, we focus on what aspect of context make a difference to how we use language. We have three aspects in principle that we call them register variable in terms of the situation, such as feel, mode, and tenor that we have just seen recently. Regarding feel, it refers to what the language is being used to talk about, okay? Or it can be the topic. And for mode, it refers to the role of language is playing in the interaction or communication. And for tenor is the role relationship between the interactant. Halliday claimed that only these three variables have a direct and significant impact on the type of language that will be produced. Now take a look at this variable from 1 to 1 in detail. For mode, it refers to the role language is playing in an interaction. Martin in 1984 suggested that this role can be seen as involving two simultaneous continua. which describe two different type of distance. It can be the distance, which is called spatial or interpersonal one, and another one, experiential distance. For the former one, I mean spatial distance, it can be ranking situation according to the possibilities of immediate feedback between interactions. For the latter one, experiential distance, it can be the ranking situation according to the distance between language and social process occurring. You can see here in terms of the spatial or interpersonal distance that this version simplified from Martin in 1984. So to the left side here, we have casual conversation, and to the right is can be novel. Like casual conversation, we have a plus, okay, with visual contact, oral. It refers to ability for hearing, immediate feedback. Suppose that you are having casual conversation, okay, so we can have the plus or positive with the existence of this thing. Like we can provide immediate feedback to our interaction, okay, and we can hear from our interaction, for example, and contact visually. For telephone and other min, okay, visual can be minus, it's 0, but it can be heard, right, that we call oral, and we can even provide immediate feedback. For email, it minus with visual and oral, but it can be the plus with rapid feedback. And for fax, it can be without visual, but plus with one way, right, when you fax someone for sending information, and repeat feedback. For radio is minus with visual and oral, right, but we have the plus with delay feedback. And for novel, right, it can be minus with visual. This is the experiential distance continuum based on Martin in 1984 once again. To the left here, it can be the language accompanying social process language as action. For example, like playing a game, the game which is called bridge, okay? Commenting, for example, like calling a match, right? Football match or horse racing. Alright, and here recounting experience. For example, when we have the report in the newspaper and we construct experience, okay, for example, we wrote fiction or non-fiction in terms of the story. For this, it can be language constituting social process, but language as a reflection, not language as action, comparing to like playing game or commentating. But when we construct experience based on non-fictional or fictional story, is for this social process, language can be the context of reflection. We can compare further in terms of the situation of spoken and written one. For example, for spoken situation, it with interactive, right, can be two or more participants, immediate face-to-face contact, language used to accomplish ongoing social action, spontaneous without rehearsing what is going to be said, because we decided and we speak out immediately, and it can be casual, informal, and just our everyday dialogue. For the written situation, okay, it is not face to face, okay, oral or visual contact, okay. For example, the written newspaper, the written book, okay, the author and the reader, they do not contact face to face. Language used to reflect on some topic, alright? It depends on the title or topic, and call for rehearsal that the written work must be through the process in academic work like draft, edit, rewrite, or finalize one. It is not casual, everyone, and it should be formal and special for formal and special occasion as well. Differences in linguistic pattern between spoken and written one. For spoken, for example, turn by turn sequencing of talk, right? Yes, and it depended on the context and structure dynamically. Structure dynamically, it means it can be with the accompany action whereby one sentence leading to another. So from one sentence to another a sentence, right? That can be numerous topic for discussion. And it also contains spontaneity, right? That it can be for start a show of hesitation, repetition, etc. And we use informal language like slang or dialect of a language of a group of people in any area. And for written one, it produced as monologic block, right? That it should be written like in essay writing or what text, written text that they have one area of topic for discussing and explaining, for example, and it context independent, everyone, comparing to the spoken one. Uh, it also structures synoptically, right? Synoptically, that it intended to encode our constant reflection on any particular topic, all right? And it is not spontaneous, right? Comparing to the spoken one, and it is more prestigious, more academic for vocabulary and standard use of grammatical construction as well. Other differences in linguistic feature. The common characteristic of spoken and written language are as following, everyone. For spoken one, the human actor, okay, action processes and dynamically related clauses that move from one to one. But for written work, the idea and reason should be with the abstract actor and should be relational or related from one to one in process logically and smoothly, and less word or in content, but it should be then in terms of the uh, advanced level of the sentence creation. Nominalization. This is the grammatical process of forming noun from the other part of speech, usually verb or adjective. It can be the mean of achieving differences in linguistic feature between spoken and written language discussed above. Now take a look at the following example, everyone. The increased complexity of tasks will lead to the extension of the duration of training program. With this in mind, I would like you to compare to another given sentence here. Because the job are more complex, program to train people will take longer. So after the process of nominalization, we can get such a sentence. I would like to read it. The increased complexity of tasks will lead to the extension of the duration of training program. We can see that after nominalization process, the verb extend has been nominalized, okay? And we use extension in noun in the place of the verb extend. And the adjective here, complex, okay, it become complexity in noun, and the adverb, okay, the adverb that we use is duration, everyone. Duration in place of the adverb like longer, okay, longer. So we can see that the use of nominalization could be with advantageous provision in terms of rhetorical organization and lexical density. For rhetorical organization, with the apparent of nominalization, we can do the following aspect, like we avoid from using human as actor in the sentence, but idea, causes or reason, etc. instead. We also reuse the number of clause complexes, right? That can be more convenient for understanding the less complex sentences or even clause. Another benefit is lexical density. With nominalization, we can do the following, like pack in more lexical content per sentence and potential of nominal growth as well. Next is about tenor. Tenor refers to the social role or relationship played by interaction. For example, between student and lecturer, customer with salesperson, etc. Ponton in 1985 has suggested that tenor can be broken down into three different continua. So the first one we call power. So like the relationship between equal status or unequal status, less powerful and more powerful. Contact is can be the contact whether it's frequent or not frequent, or we call infrequent. Affective involvement, it refers to the feeling, right, that can be high or low affection. Formal versus informal situation. Power, contact, and affective involvement are the factor which determine the types of a situation. An informal situation often involve interactions who are equal, who see each other frequently, and who are affectively involved. So the equal status. In contrast, in a formal situation, interactions are not equal, the contact is infrequent, and the affective involvement is low as well. Take a look at the distinguished linguistic differences between formal and informal situation. Here, for the formal one, there is the use of objective language, not attitudinal word or word that used to express attitude, feeling, right? And for informal one, they prefer using a number of attitudinal words, right? For example, like the adjective to talk about attitude. For informal, they also involve in using slang, right, and abbreviated form. Okay, yes, abbreviation. But for formal, they avoid slang and they try to use the complete lexical item. And it also use a polite vocative. But for informal situation, they use equal vocative. Vocative we refer to when we address to someone, okay? For example, you can call the name and then you inform something. For example, when we use polite vocative, you call the name of someone in formal way. For example, professor, okay, lecturer, I would like to give you something, okay. But for equal vocative, you have no need to use you don't have to address the name formally. For example, like with your friend, okay, you can say, "Hey Sok," okay, "Hey Sok, will you go to school tomorrow?" Okay, so when you compare to the name address of equal and polite vocative, can be quite different. And for formal situation, they involve in using of grammatical structure of mood and modality. For example, they use the modal verb to talk about any function like imperative, okay, like giving suggestion, etc. Okay. For example, if you want to give the suggestion, you can use should, okay, or strong obligation, you can use must. All right, it based on the context of the function of the modal verb that you want to involve. But for informal situation, um, they have less structure in mood and modality, right? Therefore, they try to ignore the use of modal verb. For example, like the case of imperative mood, everyone, they just say, "Leave your coat in the hallway, please." This sentence is without any modal verb, but it also display the imperative mood intervention in this sentence, that it less grammatical one and less structure. Fear. Fear refer to the topic of the situation. Change the fear has a very direct and significant impact on the text, especially on the content word that we use. Okay, that's all for my demonstration in this last clip of the last part of chapter 4. If you have any question, please rest and discuss soon, everyone. Thank you for your attentive listening. Good luck, everyone.